So I often get the same question. I think the perception is that everyone knows, and if you don't know, you're the only one. When I meet visitors and guests to our temple and those who are dipping their toe into the waters of Judaism for the first time, I'm often asked about needing to know Hebrew. I assure those inquiring that one need not know Hebrew to participate, understand, and find beauty and meaning in services. And one need not to know Hebrew to be Jewish. I do, of course, understand where the question comes from. When we sing together, pray together, kibitz, which means talk together, and sit together, there is a sense that we're all just doing the same thing, that we know all the words and we know what they mean and we can all just say them. This is 100% incorrect. We learn the words or the sounds as we hear them regularly or try them on for size, wrapping our tongues and lips around the sounds that the funny combination of English letters that represents the phonetic sounds we see in the transliteration that our prayer book masterfully presents. And so, even when we don't know what the words mean or how to really read them in Hebrew, there is something powerful that transcends the language, that connects us to other Jews, to our community, to those who came before us, to an ancient tradition. So it got me thinking about Hebrew and how Hebrew is really an incredible language. Though English is exceptional in its twisting of rules and myriads of expectation, Hebrew fascinates in a different way. In the Hebrew language, consonants and vowels are independent of one another in the sense that many times they're not even written on the same line as each other. And once you've reached a certain level of mastery with the language, you can just drop the vowels entirely. It doesn't mean that they don't exist or that you don't need them. It means that you no longer have to write them down along with the consonants. This is usually when people who are learning Hebrew start to shake in their seats and run out of the classroom screaming. As someone who many years ago was a teacher of Hebrew, I can promise you it's not that scary. Our B'not Mitzvah celebrants can also convince you that reading Hebrew without vowels can be done. And they will do so tomorrow morning as they chant from Torah, which is completely without vowels and devoid of punctuation or any other cues to help navigate the text. It's just letters, consonants, and spaces. Hebrew fascinates me most when you can change just one vowel in a word, and all of a sudden you have a whole new sentence. The meaning of a phrase is transformed, and you learn something you never expected. Whether on purpose or because you were absent-minded when you were writing the vowels and consonants and forgot or misplaced a few, these revelations that emerge when vowels and consonants play are part of the mastery of the language and have been informing us about our Torah for thousands of years. In a section of this week's Shabbat Haftorah portion from the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 13, we have an incredible instance of one little letter making a difference. The text reads, "And all your children, banaich, shall be disciples of the Lord, and great shall be the happiness of your banaich, your children." The rabbis looked at this verse and said, what if we changed the vowels a bit and made the second occurrence of banaich, your children, in the verse into bonaich, your builders? Can you hear the difference in Hebrew, banaich, bonaich? Just one little change and an entirely new meaning. Now, your children are not just progeny, the people you love, raise, and prepare for the world, but they become builders. Your children become the ones who you entrust with family traditions, family business, and most importantly for us this Shabbat as we celebrate the B'not Mitzvah of two exceptional young people, the ones to whom we entrust our faith. This is not a small thing that we pass on to our children, no small task that we ask them to fulfill. We're entrusting them with a tradition that dates back thousands of years, has survived war and aggression, geography and assimilation. So, how do they do it? What are the tools that we can give them to help them carry on our rituals, our values, and our textual traditions? Lucky for us, the tools are many, and they are readily available. The first, of course, is Torah. We are taught turn it and turn it, for everything that we need to know is held within. We're supposed to view the Torah as our guide for our everyday lives. It teaches us to be grateful for the air in our lungs, for the spirit that lives within us, for the food that nourishes our body, that God blesses us and protects us each day. The Torah reminds us that we must care for those who are less fortunate among us, for the people who are alone, for our communities that provide some of our basic needs. Our text imbues us with a sense of duty, respect, awe, and humility at the same time. What other resource can do that? I would like to argue that there is another resource that comes pretty close: our families. I don't underestimate the power of a parent. When a parent is involved, when a parent cares, when a parent shows their child or any child that they are loved, that they are special, the benefits of that gift are immeasurable. Parents can transmit our Jewish values without saying a single word. They can do it by living in such a way that sets such a positive example, by giving their time and their talents as well as their wealth to those who are not as fortunate, by giving affection freely and providing guidance and discipline when necessary, by being role models of compassion and the ideal of Judaism, as Hillel put it, what is hateful to you, do not do unto others. That is building up your children and preparing them to become the builders of Jewish future. And finally, one more way to make your children bonaim, those builders of Jewish future: send them to their congregations. Bring them here to this place. If it's not Emmanuel and you belong to a different congregation or community, or your family does, get your kids or grandkids involved. If it's not your congregation, choose a Jewish summer camp. Help them find their Jewish ruach, their spirit. Help them realize that to be Jewish is unique, special, important. We joke sometimes that we are MOTs, members of the tribe. Well, we are. We're members of an ancient tribe that needs to forge into the next era, strong and proud and ready to face the challenges that every new decade brings. Our children need to find Jewish places and Jewish leaders that make them feel proud, that make them realize they are a part of something that is beyond description. Regardless of where, congregation or camp, school or conclave, let your children loose in a Jewish environment that builds them up. Make them into bonaim, builders of Jewish future. This message is not new. It is not novel. I realize that. There is no great revelation in the rabbi on Shabbat telling you that Jewish education is important or that being part of a congregation makes a difference in the lives of families. What I want you to realize is just that. Isaiah and the ancient rabbis knew how vital it is for Jewish continuity, for Jewish children to feel welcomed, cherished, and valued within their communities. Some of the greatest wisdom in our world, Jewish or not, is the oldest wisdom. This lesson, learned by changing just a few vowels, is no exception. Our B'not Mitzvah celebrants have so much to teach us this Shabbat. They've been working hard, not just on their Hebrew, but on the content and meaning of their Torah portion, becoming our teachers and growing into what it means to be young Jewish adults, taking on the sacred obligations of their Jewish life and observance in a new and more personal way. And we are blessed to celebrate with them and all the kids who stand before us each week on Shabbat as they become builders of the next most beautiful, dynamic, and enduring expression of the Jewish life and connection. Shabbat Shalom.